From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
Good afternoon. It's a great day here on Lalate with big news about a Thanksgiving stimulus check plus a Black Friday stimulus check coming to Americans across the board, billions of dollars. We'll go over the latest details on this massive amount of money. And then the breaking news, the Consumer Price Index released for the prior month in less than 24 hours ago, and that number, impressive, showed a little bit of ease on inflation, but don't get confused because some of the component parts showed inflation was actually still going up. Fascinating, and yet the comments that came exactly as expected. Fed pivot? No, he's not on Dancing with the Stars. Jay Powell is not on Dancing with the Stars. There is no Fed pivot, and Loretta Mester shot it down like a bad lobster in flight. We'll go over the latest details across the board. Plus, we'll be going over to the situation in England. A very deep recession is underway, and the latest details across the board breaking today. And then we go to Gary Gensler. Hasn't been featured on this channel before, really. He's the SEC chairman, and he really imploded the whole cryptocurrency industry the last 24 hours. And the reaction across the markets, calling it fool's gold. We'll go over the fool's gold and why people were fooled to buy into things, not on this channel, but elsewhere, and why they've lost their shirts. Plus, we'll be looking at a big banker and his analysis of where the capital markets will be going into next year. It's very interesting. But stay over this 1 hour broadcast because we have major breaking news about that huge stimulus checks. The Black Friday stimulus checks free for all. The Thanksgiving stimulus checks for you. You go onto this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Plus, we'll be going over in the big second half, holidays, LA, as we get ready for that holiday season. Do you have the decorations up at home? I mean, Mitch has lobsters decorated all year round, but do you have the turkey ready? And we'll go over the update on the lamb. We talked about lamb just a few days ago, and I'll tell you what happened on this set for lamb, and it's all deliciousness. It's a holidays edition of LA and everything you need to know. Big money, big stimulus, and the breaking news all heating up right here, right now, as a big new show starts from Santa Monica, California. And good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. It is gorgeous here along the coast. It has been considerably colder here in Los Angeles, but I know major storms are coming to the Midwest, so my prayers are with all of you. Benefit raise, and also your housing market. Heat up today's recording, plus I have the latest details on unemployment, and of course, for stimulus. Good afternoon, and how are you? This is America's #3 most watched financial news channel, #1 for the subject matter. Lalate. Hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining me again on a big broadcast. Today, we're going to go over that Black Friday stimulus checks, free for all. It's coming up in just a second, and we'll go over the preview of that Thanksgiving stimulus checks as well. Very exciting. What you need to do is stay the big second half because we have a big 1 hour broadcast. We have a lot of money to go over. It's for you, and I'm excited you are here as part of this incredible Purple Power community. Plus, we'll be going over the new success stories that viewers have had on this channel. If you've had a success story as well for getting big stimulus, jump in the live chat, and I love to interact with you across the board. And then we also have the breaking news, which we're going to start with right now. The breaking news is the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, which we have featured all this year and has been the talking point of this channel, was released just yesterday. If the number is for, of course, the prior month. And what happened? Well, let's go into the detail. First, the headline number, the summary number, showed a little bit of easing, a little bit of softening, a little bit of coming down, lower than expected. First, let's look at the number. It's 7.7% year to date. Okay, so that's just a hot number to begin with, because inflation needs to be at 2%, says Jay Powell, and the Federal Reserve chairs 2% for several months. So let's say this again. Inflation had come in at a whopping 8% last year, as I said it would. I was the only American broadcaster of financial news to say the U.S. economy would suffer 8% inflation in December and would not go away. Everyone said it was going to be 1 to 2 months. Even Jay Powell said it. Wrong. They got it very wrong. So it was 8% in December. And then Jay Powell started to raise interest rates every month. You watch it on this channel to get inflation down from 8%. So where is it today? How much down is it from 8%? It's down at 7.7. That's not much of a movement. That's not a Fed pivot. It's not even a Fed tango. It's not even a Fed samba. It's not even a Fed trip on 2 feet. It's not anything that you would look at and give a 10-0 if you're Les or Carrie Ann on Dancing with the Stars. I would not give it any good score because it's 7.7. It didn't really move. Now, when you look at the month-to-month number, it was 0.4. Now, here is what Wall Street was looking at. They were looking at it coming in at estimates of 0.5 per month, and it came in at 0.4. So that was a beat, lower than expected. So you want inflation lower, it's a beat. But let's look at the annualized number. They were looking at 6.5 annualized, and it came in 7.7. That's a miss. So it's higher annualized. The annual number was higher for inflation than expected. Okay, so not much of a change there. Wait a second. Let's pause. What happened as soon as the number came out? Soon as the number came out, and this is why you and I always laugh, because you say, I didn't go to high school. I'm a retiree. I just relax and I watch Lalate and interact with the Purple Power community. And I understand this better than those people who have, 8-figure jobs and 5 degrees on Wall Street, and they seem to not get this right, and yet we get it right. The news was released of these numbers, and you already understand the magnitude of these numbers. It doesn't show any movement. They're basically the same story as last month. The stock market was up through the roof, up nearly 1,000 points when the news was released. Why? You know why. Yeah, Fed pivot. Immediately the number came out and they said, oh, inflation came down just so much, down, 0.3%, not 3%, 0.3%. And the analyzed number, well, just ignore that number. It doesn't help my story. Just ignore the number because it was up. So why was the market up 1,000 points? Well, they thought it was an improvement of a number. And then they tried it again. That same line they keep on trying with us. It's like someone who asks you out on a date and you said no, and they come back and they do it again. And then they come dressed as a lobster, thinking that would woo you, and it doesn't. Coming dressed as a cow may work, but not a lobster. And the number came in so unimpressively that the Fed pivot story started again. All yesterday, all this morning, analysts were saying, you know what, inflation is cooled. I think inflation has peaked, meaning it peaked means it went up and now it's coming back down, and that's the highest we're ever going to see inflation. I think the Federal Reserve is going to change their mind. Earth to Mars, you need to get a reality check. Not a stimulus check, a reality check, because why? We already understand what the Federal Reserve is going to do. They told us. That's their policy. Tell you months ahead of time what they're going to do. And guess what happened? If you didn't hear them over the last 12 months, they said it again over the last 12 hours. Listen to me, they said. We're not pivoting. We don't dance. We're the Federal Reserve. We just don't have that type of skill set. Federal President out of San Francisco, Mary Daly, says 1 month of data does not make a victory. In other words, zip it. Zip it and pip it. And she said, I think it's very important to be thoughtful that this is just one piece of positive information, but we're looking at a whole set of information. Again, you already know this. Federal Reserve needs to have many months of good numbers, many months of lower inflation, many months of inflation down to its target. And let's make that even clear. If inflation's at 7.7 or 8%, and it comes down to, let's say, 7.1 or 6.8, that doesn't cut it. They need it down at 2% first, and they need it at 2% for several months. It's sort of obvious. I mean, we said this 1,000 times. Do I need to put a picture frame behind the plants? We have said this several times because they said it several times. And yet, every time data comes out, and it shows we improved by 0.10001%, is there a Fed pivot? Yeah, of course there is, says Wall Street. No, F says regionally rational people. And that is why the markets rallied up. And then came the reaction to that fake narrative. Daly went on to say we have to be resolute to bring inflation down to 2% on average. Hello, she said this like 1,000 times over the last year, and the other Fed governors as well. Again, we need to bring it down inflation to 2%. We're at 7.7. We've been doing this for a year. Has it moved? No, it's moved 0.2%. So how far do we have to get to 2%? How long is it going to take? 2 years, said Jay Powell. 2 years to get from 7.7% now, when it was 8% in January, and we've only moved less than 1 percentage point in just 9-10 months of this year. Well, now 11 months because we're in November. How long does this take? Into 2024. And yet analysts keep on running the same narrative. Now, here is a side note, because this is something you've never heard before as well on this channel. There's a lot of breaking news today. I got over 15 pages of notes. There's a new angle to this fake narrative. And I want you to know what it is so you can say, that's ridiculousness. The new fake narrative is, well, when the Federal Reserve raises rates, the impact of it is not felt in the economy until several months later. So the Federal Reserve needs to pivot ahead of time because it'll take several months for their raises of interest rates to affect the economy. It won't show up in the economy for several months. Does the Federal Reserve agree? Do you agree? Do I agree? No, no, no. The Federal Reserve says we need the data to show 2% for several months. So we are not going to say, no, we're at 4 and we'll be at 2 in a few months, so we'll stop ahead of time. No, it has to reflect it across the board. And this, my friends, is why you have to get these great stimulus checks. You can call them stimulus checks. You can call them stimulus checks. You can call them Black Friday stimulus checks. You can call them Thanksgiving stimulus checks. They're massive checks. And I got them for you in today's recording. There are 3 categories of stimulus checks. The first ones are FSC, federal stimulus checks from the federal government. Passed by Congress, passed by the President of the United States, and they're still paying out. They're coming for Black Friday. They're coming for Thanksgiving. They're huge. I'm going to go over those 300 different checks that yield $300,000 in today's recording. Stay with me. It's coming up in this recording. Then we go to inflation relief stimulus checks. These are great. They are from, instead, your states, and they are huge. And then we're going to go over the latest details on how to get those before even Black Friday. Next up is lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, they never go down, but no one tells you that you're getting 4 raises, not 1. I'll have the latest details on those stimulus checks as well. The other data that we're looking at today is really the core of the CPI. Now, this is why you are so smart. You really should be proud of yourself. You have really come to learn and earn so well in this Purple Power community. If you're new to this channel, welcome. You're watching America's #3 most watched financial news channel in America, but #1 on this subject matter. No one else competes with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week shows, starting in the early morning and going to the night, taped, live, and short form with 3 channels, L8, 1, and 2, and 3. But look at this data. Okay, now you're going to really be shocked, because I was shocked when I looked at the data. I gave you the headline number. I gave you the summary CPI number. Let's look at the component number. So the headline number showed inflation went down compared to the prior month. You would think, well, that means that all the parts of the CPI also went down compared to the prior month. You see how I'm setting this up? Because clearly it's not going to be that way. So the answer was no. Certain component parts did not go down compared to the prior month. In fact, they went out of control straight up. So let's look and see what happened in just 1 month. Rent, these are really hard. So you don't know, unless you saw the story before I'm recording it for you, and if you do, you sort of know how this ends. So zip it if you know the answer. But if you don't know the answer, get ready to jump in the live chat, because I'm going to give you the questions right now, because I was shocked by the answers. What happened to rent in the last 30 days? I thought to myself, rent probably went up because no one could buy a house because the mortgage rates are too expensive. So they're staying in the apartment. There's very low vacancy rates. The landlords can raise the price of rent. Well, was I right? Rent, which is one third of the CPI, rose compared to the prior month. I was right. How much did it rise? Nearly 1%. What? I mean, come on already. This is an enormous rise in 1 month. Rose 0.8%. If you've been with this channel for the last few months, I've usually talked about the CPI as a rent going up about 0.6 and zero point 0.7. So 0.8 is really high in just 1 month. So this is how large is this gain? It's the largest gain for rent in 1 month since you have ever met me. In fact, the last time we saw a number this high, it was in 1990. Whoa. Um, and then when you compare it compared to to last year in rent, if you look on an annualized basis, how high is this movement on rent? The biggest 1 year movement on rent since 1982, since the Reagan administration. Why? Again, exactly what I said, because people cannot afford to buy a house because the mortgage rates are through the roof. Okay, now let's look at another number. And this number is what we were talking about earlier this year. Remember what I said about stimulus? When I got to stimulus check C, I said, I want you to start getting some utilities over the summer. Remember what I said that then? And I said the reason why is I want you to establish a relationship with the person who's paying you for the heating for the heating bill in August. And I laughed. I said, yeah, because it's going to be 12 cents. It's going to be, who heats in the month of August? You don't. Because when you go back in November, when it's cold, the bill is going to be very expensive, but that person, he or her, will already know you. You will establish a relationship. I hope you did that, because guess what happened to those fuel prices? And these are not car, this is heating the home. They went up 20% in 1 month. Folks, that is astronomical. Now, maybe you're going to say to me, but LA, it's because of the winter. The prices go up in the winter. No, 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 no. Let's compare to last year's November. Let's compare this to November of last year when it was the same temperature as well. It is up 69% compared to last winter. The price to heat the home or the other utilities around the home are up 69% year to date. This is exactly why I care about you. This is exactly why I tell you to prepare ahead of time. This is exactly why we're talking about getting ready to get stimulus C for utilities in the summer, because the numbers for these fuel prices for heating the home and powering the home in the winter were going to be through the roof. But 69%, I mean, even that is higher than you and I expected. So what about food? Do you think food went up in the prior month? Jump in the live chat. Do you think food went up? Food, up, down, your state. I've been talking about this a lot with you in the last week. I said myself, personally, here in Los Angeles, the food prices in this month of October and then November, I think went up more than I saw them go up in September and August. I just think the food prices now are ridiculous. I mean, they were high. Now they're just laughable. I mean, just prices. And we always use the example soda. Jump in the live chat. What do you see for a 1.5 liter soda, in a normal market? It used to be $4 for $1, or normally not on sale $1.50 here in Los Angeles. Now it's $3.50 for a 1.5 liter of soda. Just $3.50? I mean, it's ridiculous. So here we go. And I did see some people in the live chat yesterday talking about alternatives to soda. They talked about SodaStream and a lot of things as well. And I saw a lot of people talking about alternatives to food products. If you have suggestions, jump in the live chat, because that is a great topic to help fellow members of the Purple Power community. So let's look at that food. It rose 1%, 0.6% in 1 month, and it is up 11% annually. This is insane, folks. So the food is still going up 1% in November. And then here's energy, up 2% in 1 month as well, and 17.6% year to date. Insane. So how did the CPI go down, Lalate, in 1 month if all these numbers are straight up? It's really hard to tell, because the rent is 30% of the CPI, and the food is a very big part of the CPI. We know that... Yeah, The one thing you don't want to go down went down. Salaries went down in the 1 month. So the salaries went down a 0.1%, which is not a lot. So it's really, to be very honest with you, I don't know how this headline CPI number went down monthly when all these component parts went up a lot in 1 month. They went up a lot, but I give you some insight here as well. The numbers that did go down are the ones you expect them to go down. Used car sales in the last month, of course they went down. They went down an enormous 2.4%. What about clothing, going to the retail stores? Are people spending money in the retail stores? No. So that was down 1%. And then medical, shocker. And I saw a lot of people else talking about this. Medical is a shock, down 1%. So the reason why the CPI, the headline number, not core, because core removes auto and food, that headline CPI reduced in the 1 month because of auto, and it was also helped by retail and also medical. The rest of the numbers are out of control. And that's why you have to get a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. I mean, that was a lot of news right there. We are just starting the breaking news, but let's go into some stimulus. Black Friday stimulus, Black Friday stimulus checks, Thanksgiving stimulus checks. They're huge, and we're going to start with the biggest of them right now. They're federal stimulus checks, FSCs, and they come from the federal government. 3 different checks, and where did they come from? Let's go over the details of them starting right now. Starting in the month of March, the President of the United States passed 3 executive actions, which established 3 checks, which are paying for Black Friday, paying for Thanksgiving. What are they? Checks A, B, and C, nearly $100,000 of checks. How do you get them? I'm going to go over them with you in just a second. You become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Then you apply in the newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. These checks passed by the President of the United States are incredible, and you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. And they're from the federal government. They're in every U.S. state. Become a member right today. Along the way, then came Congress right after the president, and they passed more checks, bringing us to hundreds of checks then of FSCs. And we're going to go over those big checks, E through K, in just a second. And thereafter, I found you L and M and an O. You get them in the LA newsletter. That's where you get all these incredible checks. You become a member, and then you go right down that membership newsletter, 7 p.m. to 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time via the YouTube alerts, and apply for those incredible checks. We're going to go over all of those incredible checks in just a second. But you know what? We're going to start with some checks right now. The first 3 checks we want to start with are the first 3 done by the president. Those A, B, and C FSCs. A, $6,500 to $12,000. A 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And this is the wonderful check that Spelly got. Congratulations, Spelly. How do you get it? You first become a member. Then you go down into the membership newsletter delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and go down to where you see Check A, click the link, and go right and apply. The purpose of the newsletter is for me to send you all the links to go right and apply for these incredible checks. That is Check A. You're not done there yet. You're going to go get Check B. Now, Check B is $15,080, but this is where it gets really exciting. Check B has yielded incredible success stories because a lot of viewers on this channel have gotten enormous sums of money for Check B in less than 30 days. Here is an example. Frank Mancuso joined this channel, and in less than 30 days, he got Check B. And how much did he get? 18 months of mortgage paid. Wow. 18 months of utilities. Whoa. 18 months of high-speed internet. And that is great. How much is that? That's thousands of dollars, nearly $10,000. Another viewer out of Florida did the same, and she got nearly $100,000 or more for these incredible Check Bs. So you want to become a member, go down the membership newsletter, see Check B, click the link, and go right in and apply. It's that straightforward. That's how you rock and roll, and that's how we do it. But guess what? We're not done with Check B. With the checks, we got more checks, and they go into Check C. And this is where we were earlier this year. and also early in this video. It's for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. These utilities are now becoming critical, like based upon that number we saw in that report that showed that utilities are going up 69% compared to last year and 20% just compared to last month. That's why you want to get the Check C. Now, in the case of Check C, you go down the membership newsletter, you join this channel, and become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, get the newsletter. And when you're at Check C in the newsletter, then it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it for those incredible Check Cs. Let's look at some of the success stories, which should be your success story as well. $20,000 to $30,000 of rent, go get that incredible Check C. Look at that. Congratulations from Richard and Nancy and Mark and Elizabeth. How about some utilities? Well, here we go. Utilities. There's Mark. And his brother-in-law got $15,000. Lynn Glenn got 14 months of utilities just recently. Another viewer also got 14 months of utilities. 2 viewers gained 12 months of rent. Mark's brother-in-law then got $250,000 of SNAP. And then combinations of checks. Yes, Mark, Nisi, Nancy, and more. Now, here is Nisi at $23,000. She kept on getting checks from this channel as a Purple member. And where did she go to? $50,000. Mark went from 32 to 50, 50 to 100, and then 166. Yes, he got 166,000 from this channel by becoming a member because he got Check B. Here's Lorraine. She was at 105. She went to 155. The success stories don't stop there because we have Dragon, who is now at $170,000. We have Johnny, who got 20 friends and neighbors, $250,000, and got $80,000 for himself alone. And then we have viewers on the regular, nearly every day, getting sums of money. And that's how you rock and roll. Go right in this video, become a member, click the link, join this channel, go right in this video, subscribe, and go right in this video, hit the bell so you have all alerts to set to all on. Now, here is what's important for you to remember, is that you want to get these FSC checks, and these are just the start of them. These are just checks A, B, and C. And the big second half, we have more of these incredible checks for you in just a second. Now, the other breaking news hitting today is really important, and it impacts you left and right. First, the U.S. economy is impacted by anything that happens overseas, especially in England. And the English economy contracted 0.2% in the third quarter, we learned today, which is now the start of a massive recession. The longest recession expected to be, says Bank of England in a new warning today, in nearly a century. The Bank of England is now warning its citizens, you get ready for the longest recession of nearly a century. And that data is not alone because we're expecting more countries to say the same thing as well. Back in the States today, Goldman Sachs' CEO David Solomon said he expects the capital markets to recover in the upcoming months. What are the capital markets? They're some of the equity markets. We're thinking that's a reset value expectation at the moment. Do I agree? Not really. Not really. Why? Because in a recession, the stock market goes down 50%, and we're not really down 50%. And guess what the news was this morning? What the news was this morning, this is what's very important for me to explain to you because we are in November heading into December, is that you're going to see stocks go up. You're going to see stocks go up all throughout the rest of this year into early next year. Why? Because it's called the Santa Claus Rally. The Santa Claus Rally happens every year around this time, where stocks rally at the end of the year. It's just as a reason because of profit and losses and the trading activities. They always go up in these last 2 months, and then January they fall apart. They go straight back down. So when you see the stock market rally up in the next 2 months, and it's been up this week as well, the 5th or 6th consecutive week of the market straight up, don't think we're not having something else. Don't think that we have recovered. Don't think we're not in a recession. Don't think that inflation is under control. It's Santa Claus rally. And Santa Claus rallies even happen in bear markets. Bears down, bulls up. As you go down, you often go up, and we have that uptrend as well today. In the big second half, I'll also go over the breaking news of what happened in the crypto markets. You've never seen a story like this, and it really may be the end of crypto as you and I once knew it. Yes, it's a big shocker. And then in the big second half, we have something a little bit less shocking, Lamb. I mean, Lamb should not be shocking unless, it talks to you. And talks about Fed pivot, talking Lamb, give it time. It'll come around. In the big second half, we'll continue with these FSC checks. We'll continue with these Black Friday stimulus checks. We'll continue with the Thanksgiving stimulus checks. You go on this video, become a member, and we got a big second half of a great programming coming up today. I'm excited you're here, and I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Afternoons Holidays LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late.
And the excitement continues in the second half on the shores of Santa Monica, California, as that Thanksgiving stimulus, Black Friday stimulus, heats up the big second half. I'm so excited for you. And we're going to pick up with the checks passed by Congress, E through K, starting right now. How are you? Hope you're having a beautiful week, and stay with me all weekend long and throughout the rest of the month, because there's a lot of breaking news going on. Congress passed a series of other checks after the President of the United States. These are FSC checks. They're Thanksgiving stimulus checks. They are Black Friday stimulus checks, and they are huge. Check E, $7,500, huge. Check F, $4,000. Check G, a wonderful 30% off. Check H, $2,000. Check I, $8,000. Check J, $8,000. And check K, $14,000. That is insane. It's absolutely incredible. Now, along the way, I kept on hunting for checks for you, and I found them like a hunting rabbit, like Wilmer Fudd. Don't compare me to Wilmer Fudd. At Stimulus L, we have $100,000 on average of loan interest-free money, and $4,000 of grants, huge. And then we get to Stimulus N, like Nancy. Now, Stimulus N is why we are a family here. Stimulus N is a stimulus feature on this channel for several months, and I love it. It's my favorite stimulus. A brand new tablet, a brand new computer, a brand new laptop, and free internet. But it changed when John Maloof got it and reported that he got it during the live chat of a morning show on this channel. And he said, I got it. I said, really? Congratulations, John. And he says, and I'm watching you now on that tablet I got because I got it from watching your show. I said, that's incredible. Congratulations, John. I also said, go get some more stimulus now. What happened? Well, within less than 48 hours, Spelly, who already you've seen this channel today, got Stimulus A and Stimulus C, heard that and thought, I want a tablet. Why don't I have a tablet? I want a tablet too. So he listened and he pounced, because that's what Purple Hawks do. He pounced as a Purple Hawk. And within less than 2 days, he got the tablet. And then I reported Spelly's success story on this channel. It seems as though, and we've known this for a long time on this channel, that when there's success stories from you, you inspire other people more than me just reporting the news. So every time you have a success story, post in the live chat. Every time someone has a success story, applaud them. Keep the positivity and keep it motivational, because that's what happens. And guess what happened after that? Lynn Glenn heard Spelly, who heard John Maloof, and Lynn Glenn got the check. So who will hear Lynn Glenn get, not the check, the tablet or computer, who will hear Lynn Glenn get the tablet, who heard Spelly, who heard John Maloof? Who will be the next person who will get the tablet because they heard Ling Glen get it? I want to see if that's you. So become a member, get that incredible stimulus. N. Then we go to O, which is the zero down payment, zero closing costs, and no minimum credit check or mortgage check. And then stimulus P, free $8,000 at Q, and P is a wonderful 3% even for a Wi-Fi. And there you go. Those are your FSC federal stimulus checks for Black Friday and also for Thanksgiving. Now, here are some things you need to know. Number one, largest check in those FSC checks, $100,000. Smallest, $8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny got $45,000 in 2 days. He continued by Friday. He got $80,000 because he applied at 15 places and got 7 approved. The next week, he got his mom and dad each $50,000, and then he got those 20 friends and neighbors $250,000. What are the checks for? We got checks for lots of different things. Computers and tablets and free internet. We got checks for home repairs, appliances in the house, the car, rent, utilities, mortgage. We got something for a little bit of everything. And yes, this is for you. Single, married, with children, without children. They're from the federal government. They administer it. They send the checks. It has nothing to do with your states. And those, my friends, are your FSC checks. 300 of them and $300,000. Go on this video, become a member, click the link, and join the channel. And welcome to the nearly 100 new members who joined this channel in the last 48 hours. Now, let's go over to inflation relief stimulus checks. Inflation relief stimulus checks are different. They're from your states. And how do you learn about them? You go right on this video, become a member. Then when you're at Stimulus D in the newsletter, at Stimulus D in the newsletter, you open it up and it says the state, the amount of the check, and allows you to track the check on the state website. They're generally $1,000, and they are generally for people who have a tax return on file. It's free to file a tax return. Anyone can file a tax return at irs.gov, and then go get it. Now, we're not done there yet because I also have for you a lifetime stimulus. You may already know that your benefits are going up 8.9% next year if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. But has anyone told you you're getting 4 raises? And has anyone told you that the amount of money you're going to get is going to put you ahead of the ball game for the first time of a generation? Meaning that you'll get paid more than what it costs to live. What's going on? Let me explain. It requires you to think about last year, this year, and look forward. Last year, you got a 5.9% raise, number one. Number two, next year, your benefits are going up 8.7%. That's 8.7 on top of the 5.9. Guess what's going to happen after that? You're going to get a raise the year after that, and then a raise the year after that. So you're going to get 4 raises on top of each other, bringing you from the first floor all the way up to the 5th floor. Here's what's also really exciting. As you reach the 5th floor in year 4, guess what happens? The price of goods that you're buying will drop from its highest level right now, which is really the 5th floor, to the basement by the 5th year. So your benefits are going to go up. Once they go up, they never go down until they reach the 5th floor. And guess what's going to happen to the items you buy, like milk and eggs? They're going to come down, which they're on the top floor right now, 5th floor, folks. They're going to come right back down to the lowest floor in the building in 2 more years. That is incredible, great news. That is your lifetime stimulus. Finally, let me go back to one of the breaking news stories, and I don't think I've ever seen a story like this, and I want to give you the background on it. Cryptocurrency is a topic of discussion on YouTube. And cryptocurrency involves buying coins and selling coins. You may know or heard of Bitcoin. You may have heard or known of Ethereum. You may have watched some of my crypto shows back on the channel earlier this year and last year. And earlier this year, I said, it's really troubling for me to record a crypto show with a market that is so volatile. And when I recorded the crypto shows, I often said, don't buy and hold. Don't look at this as an investment vehicle. Maybe you go in and then go out. I specifically taught people how to go in and go out of a position within 24 hours. That's how quickly I wanted people to trade the position. I did not want you to hold the position in many cases. I specifically said when. And in some cases, I said, I want you to trade within 2 days, but I don't want you to be exposed. Well, at one point, the crypto shows on this channel stopped, and I said, you know what? I just don't see a universe in which you should be buying and holding any of those. As I also said the same thing for stocks. I don't think you should be. I told you to get out of positions and be liquid early this year, because in a recession, valuations go down. I told you stock market was going to go down. And in fact, in this recording, I told you it's going to go down another 33%. So you shouldn't be buying stocks at this point. Well, what happened in the last 24 hours? Very important guy. His name is Gary Gensler, and he is the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which does not inherently regulate cryptocurrency because it's not within their, which does not inherently have all the regulatory authority over cryptocurrency specifically, spoke yesterday and said that cryptocurrency is a toxic combination, or FTX actually was a toxic combination, and this is a very interconnected world of cryptocurrency with a very few concentrated players in the middle. He basically trash talked cryptocurrency. He went on to say that that firms should come in and talk to us, and that the runway is getting shorter for compliance, meaning that he believes that the SEC has authority to go after cryptocurrency companies and has the authority to go after the players and will be going after the players. And he specifically pointed the finger at celebrity cryptocurrency entrepreneurs who have become fall prey. I misspoke just a second ago that said when I said he does not have authority, I meant he does have authority. And what's at issue is an event that happened earlier this week, and that event is FTX. And the man behind it, Sam Bankman-Friedman. It's an exchange which is now in Chapter 11 this morning, just went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy this morning. How much is missing? The 23-page bankruptcy filing says that there's 100,000 creditors at the moment, that their assets are 10 billion to 50 billion, but their liabilities are about 10 to 50 billion. There's a big liquidity problem. They don't have enough cash for the creditors. What's happening with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the stocks and the related coins? Bitcoin, which earlier this year was at upwards of 40,000, is now at 16,000. 16,000, I think, is one of the lowest points I've ever recorded a video at Bitcoin. It was earlier this week at 20,000, and people thought that was a resistance level. I said it was not. It's at 60,000. Could it go lower? Yes, I believe it can go to 12,000. Ethereum, it's at 1,200. Earlier this year was 3,000. Could it go lower? Yes. Where do I think it's going to go? Less than 1,000. I've been saying that for 2-3 months. Cardano was once a $2 coin, is now 36 cents. Decentraland, which I spoke extensively about, is actually relatively held up. It was a 70-cent coin much this year and is at 48 cents right now. That's actually holding up pretty well when you consider stocks that are down equally amount. But let's look at Sandbox, which I never recommend on this channel. It's a match-up. It is a metaverse play. It's a metaverse coin. It is down from $7 to 61 cents. Here is my statement. It's heading into Thanksgiving, and I really do wish we have a little bit of more thankfulness to the people we watch and the people that we record for. And it's always been my focus on making sure you are ahead of the ball game with the best information and the best movements and the best predictions you can get from me. But outside of this channel, off of this channel, in other channels and in other broadcasters, I've been deeply worried about what's going on out there, and here's my commentary today. My commentary today is that when this channel started, I was initially covering several aspects of the initial stimulus, like the EIDL grant and the PPP and the PUA and things like that. Then I moved into the stimulus checks as well. When I started, there were same players recording the same type of videos. Why did they record the videos? In my opinion, the reason they recorded the videos, and they never showed you how to get any of these items, they just sort of recorded the video, was because they could make money on the videos. Did they care whether you knew how to do the application? No. Do they care about what's happening with you? No. Why do we know that? Because once first stimulus was over, they were over. They went on to a new topic. And what was it? In many cases, it was cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency was hot. It was very hot. People made a lot of money. They told you to buy all these crazy coins and recorded videos about bizarre coins as though that's the coin you should buy and hold and you will be rich. They flaunted their wealth, they flaunted the wealth of the channel, and they talked about their belongings and their cars and their homes and their fancy things that they had. And they lured you in on the assumption that if you bought these things, you could as well. What happened when the cryptocurrency market started slowing down? They stopped recording. And what happened when it was time to get out? Well, they just stopped recording. And where are they now? Well, perhaps they're onto a new topic. It's that type of motif that's in our society that worries me a lot. That people just go from one topic to another topic because it's hot, and then when it falls apart, they just move on. My goodness. I want you to understand that when you listen to someone, you want to understand the track record of that person. I want you to see and understand when whatever topic it is, whether it's car repairs or painting a house, I want you to know what the track record of that person is. It's sort of like a hurricane hitting. A hurricane hits and then suddenly everyone is a painter. Suddenly everyone's a contractor and rushes to the scene of the hurricane to suddenly repair your home. Have you painted a house before? No, I was an accountant yesterday. It's that type of motif that really worries me. It's something that should not be in the society, but I want you to protect yourself accordingly. You know, on this channel, that's not what happens. On this channel, I've been with the same topics and the same protections since day one. I focus on you, your wallet. But ultimately, off this channel, I want you to do the same for yourself as well. Whether it's the person you hire to change the tires on the car, or the person you hire to paint the bedroom for you on the weekend, I want you to know the track records of people. Because sadly, I guess there's a lot of people that are just jumping from one thing to another, and when that thing doesn't work, they're on to another thing. And go find them. They won't be around. I will be. And I look forward to seeing you tonight on Evenings Lalate at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, massive stimulus eats up tonight's broadcast. We continue more in depth tonight on primetime at 5 o'clock with that incredible, huge FSC checks, ISC checks, and lifetime stimulus. Well, the latest details on the Wall Street's reaction to that CPI number, which is still trying to digest it. And we'll see whether they're coming back down to reality, because remember, generally what happens is the markets rally up with the news and then trade down the next day. We'll see whether that's happening today as well. And then holidays. I left out holidays. No, I didn't. I just reminded myself. The lamb. What happened to that lamb? So, what I talked about in yesterday's holidays broadcast was I want you to consider, when doing that holiday meal, to go beyond the normal course of what that main course could be. You may always default to a turkey or a lamb, or you may always default to a turkey or a ham, but try something a little bit different this year. At least maybe the day before, maybe on Thanksgiving Eve, or maybe on the day after Thanksgiving. Try something a little bit different and have a couple of testers. Have younger children, have older people, because you'll be surprised when they eat it what their reaction is. In the case of the lamb, here's the reaction I had. The lamb came out great. I bought a couple of the lambs, so I'm going to do another lamb, I think, today. I bought a couple of the lambs, and the reaction that I gave to one person who's not from California was, I adore lamb. I literally plan whole trips around a lamb. And it's that type of jugular reaction that we don't know until we start serving it up. Here is my personal experience as well. Down in Chinatown here in Los Angeles, there's a wonderful store off the side. I've not been there in almost 5 years, I think. And I used to go down there because they had, I think I could say this on air, live rabbits. They had live rabbits. And that's, in some parts of the country that you go in and you don't really point at the item, but you go in and you buy the chicken is live and the lobster, sorry, Mitch, is live. And then you go home and it's not live when you're in the car. Hopefully it is not live in the car when you're driving out. And I would love rabbit. And I just thought, this is just very different. And the first time I had it, I just adore it. So please try something a little bit different. Maybe that's a message to myself to also maybe try some rabbit this holiday season. And with that, thank you for joining me on the holidays edition of Afternoons LA. Jump on the live chat and tell me what other main course you like to try that's out of the ordinary, because out of the ordinary can often be extraordinary. My home to your home, it continues tonight at 5 o'clock. And thank you for joining me on a beautiful holidays LA.